Papua New Guinea's National Information and Communications Technology Authority, NICTA, has issued a formal directive compelling Starlink, the satellite internet division of SpaceX, to immediately suspend all operations within the country. The regulator's action, taken on December 11, 2025, cites the company's ongoing provision of services without obtaining the legally required license. In an official statement, NICTA clarified the regulatory status of Starlink Internet Services, PNG Limited, confirming that it currently lacks the authorization to function under the framework established by the National Information and Communications Technology Act of 2009. This enforcement move follows a protracted period of negotiations between the authority and the satellite provider, which had reportedly neared completion on a licensing agreement. However, these discussions were abruptly suspended due to an external legal intervention. NICTA explained that in March 2024, the country's Ombudsman Commission issued a directive explicitly prohibiting the authority from granting a license to Starlink. This external mandate effectively stalled the finalization process, leaving the company in a state of non-compliance despite prior progress in talks. The regulator further underscored that it has observed a persistent and concerning pattern of activity in defiance of this regulatory deadlock. In recent months, NICTA has documented the continued importation, commercial sale, technical installation, and active use of Starlink satellite user terminals across various regions of Papua New Guinea. The authority emphasized that these actions constitute a direct violation of national telecommunications statutes. NICTA issued a stern public warning, stressing that any engagement with Starlink's technology without formal approval is illegal. Any importation, supply, installation, or use of Starlink terminals without proper authorization is unlawful and constitutes an offense under the Act, the authority stated. It cautioned that both individuals and commercial entities partaking in these activities are exposing themselves to potential legal repercussions and penalties as stipulated by law.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll read a statement. The National Information and Communications Technology Authority wishes to clarify regulatory position regarding Starlink satellite internet service in Papua New Guinea and to address misinformation currently circulating in the public domain. On the 11th of December, NICTA formally instructed SpaceX, the parent company of Starlink Internet Services PNG Limited, to cease the provision of Starlink satellite services to Papua New Guinea. This instruction was issued in accordance with NICTA's statutory obligations under the National Information and Communications Technology Act of 2009. Starlink is not currently licensed to operate in Papua New Guinea. Despite this, NICTA has observed ongoing importation, supply, installation and use of Starlink terminals across the country over recent months. NICTA reiterates that any importation, supply, installation or use of Starlink terminals or related satellite internet equipment without a valid license or authorization issued by NICTA is strictly prohibited and is unlawful. Such activities constitute offences under the Act and our relative regulations. Accordingly, NICTA warns that any person or entity engaged in these activities is in breach of the law and may be subject to enforcement action, including prosecution. However, NICTA wishes to make it unequivocally clear that the absence of Starlink license in PNG is not due to regulatory unwillingness or inaction by NICTA. NICTA has completed negotiations with Starlink, and the licensing process was at an advanced stage and near completion when the process was halted as a result of a formal directive issued by the Ombudsman Commission of Papua New Guinea in March 2024, which expressly prohibits NICTA from issuing a license to Starlink. As a result of this directive, NICTA is legally restrained from licensing Starlink until the matter is resolved. To address this restriction, NICTA has commenced court proceedings challenging the Ombudsman Commission, their directive. This matter was heard in the National Court on the 5th of September this year, and the decision is still pending until either the Ombudsman withdraws the case or lifts the directive, or the court hands down a determination allowing licensing to proceed. It must be understood that NICTA is legally unable to issue a license to Starlink, regardless of any commercial or technical readiness. On the 16th of September, SpaceX disabled Starlink services to Papua New Guinea. Its service notification to users, social media encouraged customers to express support for its approval in PNG through a online petition. Since then, we have received over 200 direct responses from users, which indicates a significant number of individuals have been using Starlink services unlawfully. NICTA reminds the public that unlicensed use of telecommunication services in Papua New Guinea is an offence, and as such, these matters will be addressed in accordance with the law. NICTA reaffirms that it remains ready and willing to license Starlink once the legal impediment is resolved. NICTA has acted in good faith throughout the process and continues to support the expansion of innovative, reliable and affordable connectivity solutions for all Papua New Guineans within the framework of the law. Until the current proceedings are concluded, the importation, supply, installation, operation or use of Starlink terminals and or services in Papua New Guinea remains strictly prohibited. NICTA will continue to enforce the Act and will not hesitate to enforce action and insist on compliance. So that's our statement on the matter at this point. Thank you.